Hello, beautiful souls. So, I wanted to quickly share my surrender meditation, my receiving mode meditation. And basically, the receiving mode is something I learned from Abraham-Hicks, who are an amazing resource. Just YouTube, Google, whatever, Abraham-Hicks in any subject, and there's thousands of amazing hours of content. And what the receiving mode is this space where, from a meditative place, so meditation, most people think of it as calming the mind, quieting the mind, slowing thought, stopping thought, being aware of your breath, all that stuff. And I think some people sort of, that's where it ends. It's just like, okay, so meditation is about calming the mind, which calms the body, which is sort of restful, and then you go and do your day, and that's kind of. And then there's some people who go crazy and are just monks, and not crazy in a bad way, but just go for it and really try and meditate all the time, but still from this idea of meditation being the focus of meditation being to quiet the mind. And I love what Abraham-Hicks says about meditation, where number one, they say that life is for living, meditate 15 minutes a day. If you can't, don't worry about it. You try again tomorrow. And it's kind of, it's a tool to, it's like tuning an instrument. It's a tool to tune your instrument, but the majority of life is about playing the instrument, not about tuning. And so meditation is a tool for tuning. And number two, they say that meditation is really a process that helps people go from negative or neutral feelings to better, more positive feelings. But if you're already really in a positive, joyful, blissful state, meditation is sort of going backwards on the emotional journey. If the purpose of life is fun and joy and play, then meditation is sort of not what you want to be doing when you're already feeling great. It's what you want to do when you're not feeling great, and it sort of helps to get to that neutral place. I'm a musician, so I think in terms of music. And if you're playing a guitar that's out of tune, if you didn't know that it was out of tune, you might think, oh, this song really sucks, or whatever, I'm not very good. But if you tune it, it's a much different thing. And so basically for me, what the receiving mode meditation is I'll wake up in the morning, I will meditate, and just focus on my breath, count my breath, do something that quiets my mind and helps me get to that still place. And I'm waiting for and listening for the receiving mode, where a thought is coming to me while I am focused on surrendering and doing nothing and not thinking. And I'm not stopping the thought, I'm just noticing it. And if that thought feels bad and I find myself spiraling down these weird, visualizations that don't feel good, then I know that I've got momentum in that direction. And if I purely focus on my breath and counting, then those negative thoughts will stop. If I'm feeling good and I focus on my breath and counting my breath, then the positive thoughts actually increase. And so it's a very interesting thing where Abraham, again, I reference them a lot because I love listening to them, and they're a big teacher in my life. And so Abraham says that the stream of well-being is really the essence of life, that the universe is inherently positive and loving. And so that makes sense to me in this, where if I completely surrender and I focus on surrendering and going to nothingness, that what's left and what gets activated is the positive, not the negative. So I will allow myself to focus on nothingness, pure surrender and breath, and just really, really slowing the mind while maintaining a listening ear for these positive, loving thoughts that just come out of nowhere, that come out of the receiving mode. And to me, this is my higher self, my soul, whatever, talking to me, listen, telling me nice things. I had a psychic tell me that a lot of the times it's my dad as part of whatever our non-physical, support team out there. I don't have too clear of a connection of what that means, but I've heard that from some people. And I will start to hear these thoughts, and all I'm doing is surrendering. And if I do it right now, I'm feeling pretty good, and I've been doing this most of the day. So if I did it right now, I'm just immediately my head goes back and I can feel this surge of energy. And all I'm doing is just pure surrender and focus on my breath. I know I'm doing so good. Everything I want is coming to me. I'm doing so good. So those are the kind of thoughts, and it feels really good. And it feels literally like energy's flowing from the base of my spine up to the top of my head, and my body moves involuntarily. Sort of, it kind of feels like energy is just moving my body, and it feels really good. And it feels just like, ooh, like divine, like bubbles, like it feels really lovely. So this is when I know that I'm in the receiving mode, and I've got a good beat on it. Then what happens next is I will try and milk that and either stay in bed or wherever I'm at and just let it roll through me. And always, all I'm doing is focusing on surrendering. So I'm not following any thought. I'm not directing any thought. I'm not focusing on something. I'm just surrendering and letting the thoughts come and just wash over me. And as soon as it starts feeling negative or overwhelming or stressful, I know that I've kind of I've gotten off the path of that receiving mode. I'm now receiving negative thoughts from a negative vibration. I'm not feeling good, so I'm receiving thoughts that don't feel good, and all I do is check back in, can reconnect. But once I've got some good momentum going, then it's easy to stay on that good feeling place. So I go for a walk, I go for a drive, I lay in my bed, I do something. It's easier. The easiest thing for me is going for a drive, because I'm active enough that I'm not bored, but I'm open enough that I can just let this happen. And what will happen for me is my legs will start to kind of like move and shake, and I'll just be feeling lots of energy and momentum moving through my body. And I'll just stay in that surrendered state as much as possible and let those thoughts and those feelings just kind of move. And sometimes I'll start to get thoughts that soothe some stress that I've been having. Like, oh, it's not my job to like fix anyone or make anyone else feel good. It's my job to feel good, and my only job is to feel better, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to focus if I don't want to. And it's just soothing these thoughts or these stresses. I'll keep checking in and make sure that what is coming through this clear space. That I'll do a check-in where I'm like, okay, just focus on my breath. Yep, clear. Okay, it feels good, feels true. And I'm getting that same, like I'm in the receiving mode and I'm feeling good. And then I just open it up again and just surrender and let those thoughts come through. So I'll check in, and then I'll get to a point usually where the general good feeling thoughts slow, and I start to want to have some sort of point of reference, which is usually my phone or my computer. And I've got all my apps on there, and each app sort of has a different, it can mean different things. Where, the messenger app could mean more about friends. The email app could mean more about work. We have our own app, Unite, it could mean more about our mission vision. So I'll allow my attention to go to a specific image and then allow that to sort of guide. It sort of sparks something, and then I'll spend another chunk of time, and sometimes this is quick, like minutes, or 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and sometimes it's hours. Sometimes it's just a beautiful longer flow. But usually it's within an hour that I can kind of really get to past this, where I'll take you next, talk about next. So I'll focus on specific app pictures and just allow, again, I'm just surrendering. So I'm surrendering in the sense that it's like all I want to do is just look at my phone at a specific spot, and then thoughts come, and I'm just surrendering and just letting it happen. So I'm kind of just in the passenger seat while this is happening, not literally because I'm driving, but I'm trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. So then those thoughts will start to move through, and again, it'll usually be either general good feeling thoughts, or it'll be like soothing, loving thoughts about a subject, like, oh, there's so many people who love me. Oh, there's so much money coming for Unite. There's so much abundance everywhere. So many people have so much money and want to support, and da 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 da. Or it'll be like, oh, you don't have to work so hard if you don't want to. You don't have to focus if you don't want to. It's okay to have, to take time off. You don't have to push, things like that. So it's either usually like affirming and positive in general, or soothing. And then I'll usually get to a point, and this is where either if I'm having a low energy day and I'm just not feeling very vibrant, and that's fine. I've had to come to terms with the fact that I'm not always going to be on 100%. Then I will usually get to a point where I'm feeling just fine, and I'll just feel like I want to turn on a show or listen to a podcast or just do something that is just general and feels good. But that's kind of where it stops for that receiving mode for me. I'll just be guided to like a podcast app or something, and I'll just feel like I want to go and just do something that's just more general, like watch a show or listen to a show or podcast. If I'm feeling pretty good and I have energy, like today, then I just let it go. And what happens is I'll get to this place where it's kind of like Neo in the Matrix, where everything slows down. I'll get to this place where the receiving mode says, what do you want to talk about? And it's just quiet. And then I can just literally ask a question and get a very clear, direct answer that is not what I usually think. And so I asked about what foods should I be eating. And at the time I was trying to lose weight and doing this keto and do this stuff, and it felt very overwhelming and stressful, and like I always had to work at it. And I just got in the receiving mode, asked what foods should I eat, and I got this very clear, like, lots of veggies, lots of fruit, coconut water, no kombucha, no grains, no legumes, no dairy, meat, once every 2 or 3 days, eggs, once a day, and giddy up. And it was just this like clear, it was just so crystal clear, and it felt really good. And it's kind of what my natural, when I'm feeling really good, I want to eat anyways. And so it just felt good and felt true and felt like, oh, okay, that's it. And then I feel like I can take that clarity from when I'm in that mode and then not get confused or be sort of guided astray from other things, where I'm just like, no, okay, unless I get back to this place and feel differently, then this is sort of where I'm headed. And the same thing with our company. It's helped me really clarify like what direction to go, what products and features to focus on, etc. one day, so I was doing that, and that was feeling great. And then I was coming home and feeling a very big contrast between that beautiful receiving mode, bliss, connection, and all the triggers and stimulus and things at home. And I was finding it very discombobulating. And I actually went to speak with Abraham in Seattle at her event last year. And I asked, what do you do? Like, how does one, like, it feels like I've got so much momentum on things that when I come home into familiarity, into past patterns and thoughts, it feels like I'm like hitting a wall, and I just completely spin out, and it feels worse because I was in this beautiful, high flying, feeling great place. And then I come back and it just feels like I just get mixed up in all this stuff. And what they said is that, yep, that happens. It's normal. And just do your best to kind of find the path of least resistance around those things, and just find things that feel a little bit better, and do your best to kind of go around them. And when I've asked in my receiving mode, when I ask myself or my higher self or whatever I'm talking to when I'm in that receiving mode, I get a similar answer of that my only job is to feel good. My only job is to find things that feel good. And that's where the answers will come from. That's where my clarity will come from. And so one day I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder. And so I kept getting into the receiving mode of getting to that point where I would ask what, what do you want to talk about? That's what I would hear. And then I would just go into question and answer. And then that was kind of it. And it would just feel a little bit, eventually it was kind of boring. It was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go do something else. And so one day I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just went for a really long drive and just stayed in the receiving mode and didn't ask any questions. And just when I got to that point of feeling like of getting that what do you want to talk about message, that I just stayed open and just let it run for a while. So I did that, and I went for a long drive. And what happened was I was guided to focus on subjects that I had strong resistance around. And it felt like I had enough momentum and enough space and enough positive energy to really like hold the subject and work it through and talk it through and pick it apart and just come to a peaceful resolution that felt really clear and really good. And so it feels similar to what people describe when they're like doing ayahuasca or doing plant medicines, where they're kind of like guided to a subject, and by the end of it they feel better or more complete or whatever on that subject. And so I was finding the same thing, that if I just stayed in that receiving mode past the point of getting the what do you want to talk about message, then I would just receive these thoughts that would soothe specific subjects that I was having issues with. And so what happened today was I got into the receiving mode, and I got to the what do you want to talk about, and I did a bit of question and answer because it's fun. And then I just stayed in that openness, and it did the same thing, and it started to like pick little bits and feel better about little bits. And then I got to this new place, which felt really exciting, which was this really beautiful place of stillness, where it just felt like when I surrendered, it's like there was nothing, and there was no desire to think about or talk about anything. It was just like calm. It felt so good. It felt like, oh, like so relaxing. I stayed there for a bit, and then, played around, and eventually I was excited to listen to a show, and just did that. I think I've been loving Matthias DeStefano and Danica Patrick and um, Aubrey Marcus and Blue and all those people. I think I listened to Danica Patrick talking with the guy from Gaia. I think he's black, and he talks about Egypt. Billy Carson, maybe. Anyways, so um, so that has been really powerful for me, and what it has done for me is it's shifted my focus from I have to find the root cause of things and like fix them and clear them and get like I have to like figure it out, to all I have to do is feel good. And when I have good energy, I can just completely surrender, and it'll just kind of do the work for me. It'll guide me to the resolution, to the clearing up of things that have been bothering me, to the clarity, to the expansiveness, to feeling great. And then from that point, I can move into my what feels exciting and what feels interesting from that place of strength and clarity, and just abundance and knowing and just trust and energy. And I've noticed that is the number one thing that was so different from working with someone else who was leading a company to being an entrepreneur where it's my baby, was the amount of personal growth and energetic resistance that came up was so intense and different. And it feels like the hardest part is just learning how to maneuver through that. So this has been a really big breakthrough for me, because before I was getting really stuck and spiraling and feeling like I had to like clear stuff, and even if I wasn't feeling good, then that was even more of a reason to go and clear it, because that was the reason I was feeling bad, and blah blah blah. And now I'm just really focused on my only job is to get to that place, surrender, feel really good, and then just let myself be guided to what I want to do. And if I can't get there, then I can't get there, and then I get to have a fun day of watching shows or take a nap or do whatever I need to do to feel a little bit better, and that's it. Like it feels like a little bit of a game, and I'm just trying to be easy on myself. And of course, sometimes I have bad days and I'm hard on myself and all that stuff, but I'm really trying to loosen that a bit. So that's it. Anything you want to know, please leave a comment, or I'll put something in here where you can um, leave a comment or message me, and appreciate you, and let me know what you would like to see from this. I've been thinking about doing some sort of group coaching thing especially for like business owners, because it just feels fun and interesting, but it could be for anyone. So that's something that might be coming up. Or if you don't know, we run our company is called Unite, and it's basically an eco wellness social marketplace, and it's going to be using AI to help bring together all the things that help people feel better: content, products, services, events, community, and really personalizing it, making it really easy for people to find what they're looking for, and for businesses to find clients, and just taking that research and marketing pieces out of the equation, and just helping to like actually make connections based on all this amazing data that's all around us. Reviews, ratings, taste profiles, science, research, testimonials, personal preferences, all the different things, all the stuff that's everywhere that we can optimize for. And being able to say, okay, based on you and who you are and what you're looking for, this might be the best massage for you, or the best dance class, or the best whatever you're looking for. And so that's Unite, that's what we're creating. And in order for that to happen, there needs to be a lot of people and businesses using it. And so we're looking for that feature, that thing that will get people to use it and help it grow even more. Where we just hit 2,500 members and 720 businesses. So super exciting, but we haven't hit that like viral, oh my God, everyone needs to know about it and everyone's telling everyone moment yet, but I know it's coming. And so what we're looking at is the speed healing and love stream features. And speed healing is just short 10-minute sessions that are free that people can do with practitioners or coaches or therapists or energy healers, or we do it in person at our events, which we run mostly in Vancouver. And eventually we'll do more of those around the world. Eventually big stadium shows, and eventually we want to do like 3 billion people or more. Just have an epic global synchronized event. And my hope is that we host First Contact and have amazing, just have such a good time that amazing aliens are like, I want to come to that party, and they come over and show up, and that's fun. And so that's super exciting. We're actually looking for investors and mentors and people who can support what we're doing. So if you know anyone or you're interested, let me know. shine@unite.love is my email, and unite.love is our website, and you can download the app, all that stuff. Right now you can sell tickets to events, sell products, services, post content. We have a vision board feature, appreciations feature, success stories where you can share. I had some cavities that I healed and that went away, and the dentist said he'd never seen that, and so I shared how I did that. It was mostly using Uncle Harry's tooth products. Anyways, so this speed healing feature, we're going to launch that soon. And the Love Stream is an online live stream platform similar to Clubhouse, where people can host rooms and other people can join, and it's interactive, but we want to focus on wellness and have video. So think of it like you sort of have a bunch of Zooms happening simultaneously, and you can jump into whichever ones you want, and the hosts can control the, who gets to speak and whatever, but there can be, meditations and yoga and conversations and workshops and classes and whatever people want. So those are the next features we're excited to launch and test and see what people like and what we can do that's going to be really useful and really fun. So love to hear your feedback on that. And yeah, just appreciate you, appreciate the world that we're living in. Super excited for this next level, this next evolution, this next phase for humanity. It feels so good and juicy. We're doing so good. Yeah, I have a 30-minute clock, so I can see I'm kind of getting close to it. We use this amazing tool called Spotify for podcasters, which you can record in. You can it uploads it automatically to all your different channels and Spotify and Apple and whatever. So super fun. Anyways, sending you so much love. Talk soon.